Greetings. This is our conflict resolution project. We are group 3. The purpose of this presentation is to show how conflict can be resolved by nonviolent interventions. The social worker in our scenario will be modeling nonviolent communication. Talking papers will be used as an icebreaker, and common ground interventions will be utilized in order to resolve a potential conflict that may come up in the social work field. So now let's introduce our characters and our scenario.
Hi, my name is Shakeen Brown, and I will be playing the social worker.
Hi, I'm Ashley Evans, and I will be playing the role of the resource parent.
I'm Tanisha Bush, and I'll be playing the role of the biological parent.
And I'm Taisha Cruz, and I'm playing the role of the child. In our scenario, a child has been placed in foster care by the courts due to her biological mother's drug addiction. The child has had visits with her biological mother, but the resource parent would like to cancel future visits because she feels the child is not safe during these times. The child has come home after visits smelling like marijuana, and the resource parent has overheard the child telling her friends that her biological mother's new boyfriend let her smoke while she was visiting. The resource parent contacted the social worker for mediation. Our conflict scenario takes place in a team meeting with the biological mother, resource parent, child, and social worker.
Good evening, everyone. This is Ms. Brown. Both of you guys have seen me before. Taisha, I know you've seen me visit you. We're here tonight because of a concern for Taisha's safety. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to do a mediation meeting just to kind of clear the air, find out what's going on, see how we can come to a resolution by the end of this meeting. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So just so that we can kind of get to know each other a little bit more, I know you guys see each other in passing. I just want everyone to be able to introduce themselves and tell one fun fact. And Mom, Ms. Bush, if you would go first, that would be great.
Sure. My name is Tanisha, and the fun fact about me is I have a 15-year-old daughter who I don't have custody of because you, Miss Evans, are trying to take her away from me.
Okay. Ms.
Yeah.
Evans?
Well, I'm Ashley, and my fun fact is I'm raising a 15-year-old daughter who's not biologically mine because her mother, Miss Bush, is addicted to drugs. And I have been doing a much better job at raising her daughter than she ever did.
Was addicted to drugs. What? But okay.
Oh, okay.
They're always arguing.
Whatever.
I see.
You always trying to throw something, like say something under your breath, like just whatever. Just introduce yourself.
Can I introduce myself?
Yes.
Okay. So here's the thing. I just want to redirect everyone to make sure that we are aware that this is a safe place. Okay. So whenever we go into mediation, we're doing what's best for the child. We're having a meeting. We're adults. We only have one child in the room. So let's try to come together a little bit better. Okay. Taisha, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a fun fact about you?
Well, I'm Taisha, and I have no idea why I'm here.
Okay.
You here because your resource mother always want to call the courts on somebody because supposedly her environment is
They're
safe.
always arguing. Ms. Brown.
Well, if you weren't addicted to drugs, your child wouldn't be put in my care in
You
the
smoke
first place.
cigarettes and you probably drink in front of my daughter too. Your environment isn't safe.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
They're always arguing, always putting me in the middle.
Okay, everyone. So I get what's going on here. It's a lot of anger. It's a lot of frustration. But we definitely have to start using better communication, okay? So I'm going to introduce something to you guys that you may or may not have heard of. It's called nonviolent communication, okay? And keep in mind, I'm not saying that you guys are being violent, but we call this nonviolent communication because it's just a better way to communicate. Okay. So everybody knows me in my rooms. I always keep different statements up just to kind of get you, to understand where we're going. Okay. So I'm going to have up on the board the I statements. Okay. It's not anything that I'm expected for you guys to learn overnight. But as we go through the meeting, I'm just asking that you guys try to attempt to use some of these I statements so that you're not saying you, because that kind of makes people be on the defense. Okay. But if you put it on I, then it's more like everything's back on you. You can say how you feel. So for instance, if Miss Bush, if you observe something from Miss Evans, you could say what I see, like I see or I hear. Miss Evans, if you feel a certain way, you can say I feel instead of you are. If you need something, you can always say because I need or because I value. And of course, if you're asking for something, instead of demanding it, we can try to do would you be willing to? Okay, so I'll keep these up. These are just initial suggestions for you guys to use. It'll be up on the board, okay? But just try.
Okay.
I know that you guys are frustrated, but at least try. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So what we're going to do is go ahead and go into the icebreaker. This is a little fun little thing. As you can see right in front of you guys, you should have some pieces of paper, some sticky notes, and a pen.
Yes.
And what we're going to do is we're going to have a little icebreaker. It's called Talking Papers. So basically, it's just going to be a way for you guys to non-verbalize how you feel. So I'm going to pose a question for everyone. Taisha, you can participate as well.
Okay.
The question is, what is best for Taisha? What would be best for Taisha? Okay. So you guys think about it. Think of different ideas, different thoughts. But with your thoughts, make sure you put them on different sticky notes. Okay. So I'm gonna give you about 2 minutes for you to jot a couple things down and just kind of let me know when you're done.
I'm done.
I'm done.
Done.
Great. So let's kind of go over everything that you guys wrote. It seems like you wrote a lot. So let me just put this board up. All right. So as I'm looking at the board, I actually do see that some people put a lot of different things. We have safety. We have a long, healthy life. What are some other things that you see up here on the board?
Living with my mom again.
Right. Positive influences in her life, feeling loved. Ms. Evans, what else do you see up on the board that someone put?
Positive influences, happiness.
Right. All right. So let's kind of take, and then I also see my mother and resource mother getting along. So why don't we do this? This would be really good because we have some good ideas. Let's start grouping these things together. So what do you feel can be grouped together?
Safety and to be safe.
Okay, that's a good one. And what else?
Healthy relationships and positive influences in her life.
Yep, that's a really good one. What about you, Miss Bush?
To feel loved and happiness.
Yep, those are wonderful. So let's put them all together up on the board. And as you can see, just as an icebreaker, just to break the ice, you guys have different opinions, but look how your opinions come together as different ideas. So even though one person put, freedom to make decisions about seeing her mom, another person might have put gaining trust from the resource mom. Looks like it came from two different people, but the idea is the same. Do you get the concept?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's take it a little bit further, and this is gonna actually probably tap into a lot of your feelings. But we're gonna go into something called a common ground. So this is a real basic resolution technique. The goal is not to come to any kind of resolution. It's just to come to a mutual understanding. Some of the steps to keep in mind, which will be up on the board as well, is one person's going to make a statement. The other person's going to paraphrase and listen. Okay. And then when that person gets done paraphrasing, the person that made the statement will confirm or deny. Okay. And we're going to keep going through those steps until we can confirm that what is said is correct. So let me give you an example real quick. Taisha, if I was to say that dog has a white collar around his neck, but I see that he really wants a black collar, how would you paraphrase that?
You said that the dog has a white collar around his neck, but really wants a black collar?
Yes. So I would, because you said pretty much what I was thinking, I would say, yes, I'm confirming that that is correct. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now I want to make it clear that the key is to listen to one another. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is a safe place. As I stated before, anything that we discuss stays in here. Okay? We're going to try to keep the nonviolent communication going. So try to say I, try to be conscious of what you're saying, try to be conscious of your responses, and try to listen, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right,
Okay.
so let's see who can go first. We're going to go ahead and let you, Ms. Evans, go first because I know you voiced a concern. So go ahead.
Okay. So I wanted to call this meeting and sit down because I've just been having some concerns about Taisha visiting her mom. There have been times that she's come back home smelling like marijuana. And there was a situation a couple of days ago where I overheard her talking to her friend on the phone about how mom's new boyfriend let her smoke.
So now you listen to my conversations?
I was just walking by and I overheard. It has nothing to do with trust. It was an accident. I just walked by and overheard you say that. I'm worried that mom's still using. How can she have someone in her house who's smoking? And I mean, as a recovering addict, how can she not be? I don't think Taisha's safe. Taisha's not safe at her mom's house. She's being exposed to drugs. I think we just need to really evaluate these visits and cancel them.
Okay. So Ms. Bush, now it's your time for you to paraphrase what she said.
I don't know what she said, but what I do know is you, Ms. Evans, you think you're better than me. You always call in the courts. You always call in the cops. You trying to take my daughter away
You're not
from
even
me.
listening to the direction, Mom.
You're a bitter woman. Like, how you gonna say I use drugs? Like, how do we know you don't use drugs? Did we ever drug test you? But whatever. I ain't gonna say the way
you go for it. You drug test me. I guarantee it'll be clean because I am a better parent than you.
I bet you got alcohol in your blood right now, though.
So Ms. Bush and Ms. Evans.
Yeah.
The instructions and the steps are up on the board. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So let's think again. This is not a resolution. It's to come to a mutual understanding. There's not any way that we can come to a mutual understanding if we're not listening to each other. Okay. You don't want to listen. You don't want to hold on. You don't want to listen in order to be for you to get your point across. You want to listen so you can actually hear what they're saying, so you can paraphrase. Okay. So try to listen. So Ms. Bush, why don't you go first and say how you feel, and we'll see, Ms. Evans, if you can go ahead and paraphrase.
Okay.
I feel that she thinks she's better than me. I feel that she's trying to take her daughter away from me. Well, my daughter away from me, excuse me. I feel that she does drugs, and I feel that she's bitter.
What am I bitter about? And what drugs? Where are you getting your information, lady?
You look like you use drugs to me, I'm just saying.
Oh, you are crazy. You are legitimately crazy.
Okay. All right. And I understand that you guys are frustrated, but just to get you back on track, remember the I statements and to try to speak from how I feel. Okay. Try to keep in mind that basically you are saying you want someone to come back and respond to you the way that if they were talking. So for instance, Miss Bush, if you want your point across, right, and you want to be heard, you want somebody to sit and actually listen to what you're saying so that you can actually be heard, correct?
Right.
Okay. Miss Evans, you voiced a concern, so you want the same thing. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yes.
All right. So let's try this again.
And maybe
Okay?
they'll listen this time.
I hope so. Taisha, we're getting there. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I completely understand this is a touchy situation, but we want what's best for Taisha.
That's for
Okay.
Taisha, yes. I statements, see? Yeah. Mhm.
Good job. Good job. Okay. So let's take it a step further and have you listen so you can paraphrase. But good job on the I statements. Okay,
Okay.
Miss Evans, can you voice your concern one more time? Okay.
Yep, of course. So like I said before, Taisha's come back to my house after visiting mom, smelling like marijuana, and she's made comments about smoking with a boyfriend, and I know that was I stepped out of line and I didn't confront you about it, but I didn't know what to do. So I'm sorry. It's not that I don't trust you, but when I'm hearing these statements and you're coming home smelling like marijuana, it just makes me nervous that you're being exposed to not safe situations when you're at mom's house. And I just don't think it's a good place for you to be. If you're being exposed to drugs, if mom's doing drugs or her boyfriend's doing drugs, I don't want you in that environment because I want you to be healthy and happy and thrive, and you don't need to be brought down by drugs. That's how I'm feeling about this.
That was a lot.
I understand it was a lot,
But I wasn't even, I was just lying, talking to my friend, trying to, I don't know. I don't know. Mom, what did you hear her say? Since,
Well, sounds to me that if we must make sense of what she's saying, sounds like she's concerned for your safety. She feels that my environment is unsafe, and she doesn't want you to use drugs. And she thinks
That's
there should be
pretty
some
much
kind
it.
of intervention, I guess. I don't know.
are y'all agreeing?
Yep.
Look at that.
I'm agreeing. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
so Taisha, I'm going to give you opportunity for you to make a statement, and then I'm going to have Miss Evans and Miss Bush to paraphrase what you have to say. Okay.
Yes. So it's very frustrating because they don't get along at all. And oftentimes I'm put like in the middle, and I feel like I'm the go-between. So my mom will say, well, that woman, and it's kind of like, well, pause, that's my mom too. So it's frustrating. And I apologize for lying. I mean, I was lying. I don't know. Everybody smokes weed, so I just said it. But I didn't. But I don't know. It's a lot. It's frustrating.
Okay. Good job. So, Miss Bush, can you paraphrase what your daughter said?
Of course. My daughter is saying she's just tired of us not getting along, me and her mother.
Mm-hmm.
She just wants to see peace between us. And she told a little white lie on the phone that she doesn't understand why it was overheard anyway. But yeah.
I
Right?
ain't saying
Am I right?
I'm being overheard, Mom. Just stick with the facts. Stick with what I said.
Sorry. But yeah, so you're frustrated. You're saying that you're frustrated and you want me and your mother, your resource mother, to get along, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Miss Evans?
I guess, I heard pretty much the same thing. I get that it's frustrating that your biological mother and I can't get along, and I wish that we could too. I think that would be a great idea, and I am sorry that I didn't come to you about a conversation I overheard, and I'm glad that it was just a lie. And I hope that we can come to some sort of an agreement so that we can get along and you can be happy. And I understand that it's important that you see and have a relationship with your mom.
Thank you. That was pretty dope.
So that kind of this is good. You guys, we started off on a rocky start, but it seems like everyone pretty much has a common ground. We want what's best for Taisha. And Taisha, I applaud you for allowing this time for you to come out and tell the truth.
Thank you.
And I applaud you, Miss Evans, for being concerned for Taisha to take it that point. You know, because that is not your biological daughter, but you love her enough to make sure that she's safe. And Ms. Bush, we know that you're fighting to make sure that you have and maintain a relationship with your daughter. So I commend everyone. So we only have a couple of minutes, so let's come up with some kind of solution at this point, because it is still a concern. We do have to come up with some kind of solution where, you know, possibly, you know, that Ms. Bush, Taisha be has supervised visits for a little bit of time just to kind of figure out what's going on, you know, since we do know that your boyfriend does still indulge in some illegal use of drugs. But, yes,
What
Ms.
does
Bush.
what my boyfriend do have to do with what I do? I mean, supervised visits. How long is this supposed to last?
We wouldn't have them for that long, probably to start off for, you know, give or take a couple weeks. I will evaluate to see how everything is going. But at this moment, you know, for the safety of Taisha, we just kind of have to monitor the situation. And if you feel more comfortable, I can be, as a social worker, I can be the one that's there to supervise it if you feel that it will be a little bit better than Ms. Evans at this time. But we do have to have it supervised. I think that would be a good idea.
I agree.
Yeah,
I think that's the
anyone
best
other
thing
than
right now.
Miss Evans. She
Okay.
ain't supervising nothing.
Okay, and I can understand your concern, so I can take on that task to be there to help supervise and monitor. And if things are going along the way that they should, then, you know, we would definitely go ahead and have it where she can just come over your house and it'll be fine. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Does anyone have any additional questions?
I mean, my
I
question is just
can't
boyfriend
I
needs to do
just
it.
keep seeing my mom. I don't want to miss time seeing my mom.
Right. Ms. Bush?
I mean, my question probably won't get answered, but I'm still not understanding what my boyfriend does have to do with me when I've been clean. But I mean, I guess it is what it is. So, and I don't have no questions. It's fine.
It's still a safety concern, and I understand that you don't understand right now. But as time goes on, we can start talking a little bit more. But it's basically a safety concern for your daughter and also for you, actually. But we can talk about that in a different session.
Yeah.
Okay. Right now, we just want to make sure that we kind of have everything flowing as to what everyone is going to do, and make sure everybody's on the same mutual understanding. Ms. Evans, do you have anything you want to say? Were your needs met?
Yep, I think I feel heard. And I think that supervised visits for a while is a good idea, just so we can kind of get back on track and make sure she's safe. Because that, like I said, that's my big concern, and I hope that will work.
Okay. All right. So before we conclude, are you sure that everyone is okay before we leave? Ms. Bush, are you certain? Because I know you had a little bit of concern. Are you good?
I mean, y'all gonna do what y'all want anyway. Clearly, whatever I say means nothing. I'll just listen to her, but that's fine. I'm fine. As long as I get to see my daughter, whatever.
Okay. Well, we don't want you to be upset about anything, as long as you understand it's just for the safety. And I understand, you know, the circumstance. I would be upset if I was in your shoes as well, but I will also have to look at the best interest of my daughter. And keep in mind that it won't be forever. It's just going to be temporary, just so I can monitor and see for myself. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So what we'll do is I'll conclude, and I will be calling you Miss Bush and coming by your house. Taisha, if you can stay behind, we'll go ahead and discuss a plan.
Yeah.
And Miss Evans, I will give you a call next week, okay?
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're very welcome. I will see you guys in a little
Thank you,
bit.
Ms. Brown.
All right, you're welcome.
Thanks for nothing.
This scenario demonstrated how parties can display opposing sides and different objectives, yet use nonviolent communication to obtain a suitable outcome. As you have seen, each party in the scenario had strong feelings about whether or not the child should be able to see her biological mother. However, with the use of interventions, each member had an underlying common goal of making sure the child would be safe and happy. In addition, we have demonstrated how we as social workers can overcome a resolution.
In terms of diversity and oppression, diversity was demonstrated in this video as it's assumed that the biological mother and resource mother come from two different backgrounds and experiences, in which the biological mother and the resource mother interpreted things differently. Evidence of this was that the biological mother had a background in drug addiction and couldn't understand what the problem was with having her boyfriend who smoked marijuana around her child, although herself was clean. The biological mother viewed the resource parent as someone who felt she was better than she was and who could do a better job at raising her child. As the biological mother was also initially unable to comprehend that the resource mother just wanted what was best for the child. The resource parent is assumed to come from a well-rounded background, for evidence is that she has custody of the child, and she's able to see the dangers of having the child exposed to drugs and drug use. Diversity is shown with the child, where she is the younger one in this scenario, who's just caught in the middle, unable to have any advantage on her two mothers getting along. The diversity that's shown here is diversity of age, social class, and environment. Oppression is demonstrated as the biological mother has to have supervised visits in order to have independent visits for her child once again, and she's therefore oppressed by the institution, for her opinion in this doesn't seem to matter. The biological mother is also oppressed, for the resource mother is in position to have more of an impact on the outcome of the relationship with the biological mother and her child. The child is oppressed in this matter because of her age, and she has no choice but to abide by the rules as well.
The techniques that were used in our role play were nonviolent communication, created by Rosenberg. They are shown in I statements for observations and feelings. We use what I see or hear, and statements such as I feel. For needs and requests, we use statements such as because I need or would you be willing to. Our next technique was talking papers. Talking papers is a way of conflict resolution through nonviolent and nonverbal communication. Persons can answer a broad question about their feelings and thoughts without having to say anything out loud and anonymously. The result is to show how that even in conflict, they have similar ideas and feelings about situations. Our final technique was common ground, and that is utilized by making a statement. Other party paraphrases the statement until the person can confirm or deny what that the person is saying, what the intended message is. And then the roles are switched.
Now we would discuss how the techniques were used in the role play. As a social worker in this particular scenario, I had to look at what it would be in real life. In real life, having a mediation between two different parents for the best interests of the child, to me would be a difficult situation to get them on one accord, especially when you have a parent that is from one side of the railroad to the other side. So they come from two different places, have two different viewpoints. So our techniques were used a little bit different than the typical way. As far as a social worker, we try to employ the nonviolent communication as a measure to use throughout the particular mediation, just to use it as a guideline, knowing that it may not automatically be used the whole time, but just to introduce it to the parent and also the resource parent so they can understand the difference from being violent to having a more calming communication. As far as the talking papers, rather than using the talking papers as a whole group, in the main intervention, the social worker chose to use it as a icebreaker, just to get everyone, because they had all different types of views, just to get them engaged to see how it could plan out. And then the last technique, which we use as our main intervention, is common ground. And as you can see in the scenario, common ground was a little bit difficult because you had the resource parent saying one thing, and you had the regular biological parent very upset about the situation and feeling that, she was being confronted and picked on. So it was difficult. I feel like it was used how it would be used in real life, and how the social worker had to stop and continue to redirect. I think that is something that's difficult, but I think that the scenario is being used in a way that it would be a real life situation. So that is how they were used and why they were used.
By the end of the course, our group as a whole reached the working stage of group dynamics. We all decided that we had a common end game when we started this project. And because we're all working adults and we all have other things going on, it was really easy for us to sit down and really get a plan put in place so that we could be successful and have this video completed in a timely fashion and in the way that we needed to have it done. In the beginning, we did have some conflicting ideas, and there was quite a bit of back and forth deciding how we wanted to do this, but we were able to do that in a professional way, so we never really got into a lot of arguments. And I think in the end, because we were all working towards the same end goal, we were able to complete this successfully and to work together and get it done on time.
That concludes our conflict resolution project.